Hello, 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 and hello again. Nice to meet you. Oh, to those who are just joining us, I can see 3 people online. You are welcome. Thank you very much for always stopping by, always finding time to come here to see what we have for you. Thank you very much for coming. And today we are talking about co-parenting. Hey, what does that mean? It sounds like a big word to some people, and some have a different view about what co-parenting is. But today we have a special guest who is well trained to tell us what exactly co-parenting is and why is it important to a child's upbringing. So this special guest, I'll tell you, is someone who is an educationist. She's a mother. She's a parenting expert. She's a speaker and author, and she's a founder of the School of Positive Parenting. So we have, she's got a wealth of with us today, and her name is Mrs. Fola Sola-Adeniyi, or you could call her Olori Fola Fola Sola-Adeniyi. You are welcome on the screen. Oh, I can't hear you for some reason. I think you've muted yourself.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. Good evening.
Good evening. I can hear you.
Yes, I'm glad to be here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, and for finding time to come here. And hey, bonjour on from your end.
Bonjour. Bonjour.
Do you want to greet us properly in French for those French listeners?
Bonjour, comment était votre jour? I'm trying to ask, how has your day been?
Okay, ça va bien, merci.
Oh,
is it correct? Yeah, if it
yes.
is.
You did well.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much for coming on. So like I was telling our viewers, thank you for joining in. Is about co-parenting. That's the importance of co-parenting in a child's upbringing. So before we start, I would like you to introduce yourself, because some people are like, who is this person? I've never seen her before. Can I know you? So please, could you introduce yourself?
All right. Just like she said, my name is Olori Fola Sola-Adeniyi. I'm an educator with over 3 decades of on-the-field experience. I'm a parenting expert. I'm also an author. I'm a writer. A kid entrepreneurship coach. I always tell people anything that has to do with children, anything that has to do with a child. I mean, as long as it has to do with the well-being of the child, that's what I am for.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. So it has to be everything, parenting, everything that has to do with child, the total child, how to raise total children, children who are sound in health, emotionally, socially, and every aspect she's going to be mentioning today. So thank
academically.
Yes, and all the leads.
Yes.
Yes. So thank you to those online who are joining us. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for coming on here. Please remember to like, share, and send your comments here on the screen so that we can, our child experts can answer them. So now my first question goes thus. What, in your opinion, is the key significance of co-parenting in a child's life? But before then, I think some people might be like, what actually is co-parenting? Because it might sound like a big word or an alien word for some people. So if you could tell us what co-parenting is and what, in your opinion, is the key significance of co-parenting.
All right, thank you. When we talk about co-parenting, it means a lot of things to different people. To some people, it talks about divorced couples, and to some people, it's just about raising children. So we're going to be talking about co-parenting from those 2 angles tonight. We're not going to be limiting it to divorced couples alone. We want to just we want to look at co-parenting as that situation where parents share responsibility. There's a kind of shared responsibilities from both parents, both the father and the mothers. We are all contributors for bringing these children to the world. It's not the responsibility of just one person. We want to look at our combined effort in raising responsible children. That is what co-parenting is all about, irrespective of whether you are married or you are divorced, you are still together or not. As long as we are raising children, the ability to come together and raise those children together, contributing everything from both sides, that is what we mean by co-parenting. Now, when we talk about the key significance to children's lives, the first thing I would like to relate that to is the unified support system that children will have with co-parenting. When I say unified support system, what do I mean by that? Our parents are coming together with ideas. We were raised from different backgrounds. We were raised by different parents, and these parents have deposited some values in us, that has been there that we also are trying to pass across to our children. So when we co-parent our children, the values from both the father and the mother is these values are coming together to raise a child. That child would end up developing in a stable and secure environment. That is one of the things that co-parenting, one of the advantages of co-parenting to a child. Another thing that co-parenting does is that it develops a kind of problem-solving skill in a child. Now, children are looking at you as parents as you address issues. I want you to believe that co-parenting is not all about making decisions. Good. It's about making decisions. It's about passing information to the children. It's about guiding them. It's also about the jobs, the things, don't let me call them jobs, the chores in the home. It's about other activities like who wakes the children up in the morning, who gets them ready for school, drops them off and pick them up from school, who takes care of their weekends, who handles the holiday activities, holiday outings and all that. These are things that we do in co-parenting. So the children are looking at you as you handle all these things. They see the father, the mother as they attack the challenges as they come, as they profess solution to every of those challenges. They are also developing what we call problem-solving skill. Gradually, you might not know it's affecting them, but it is actually affecting them. So when a child has that experience of being co-parented, the child ends up, developing holistically, all-round development.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you very much. So we've learned that co-parenting is actually a shared responsibility of both parents to bring up a total child. Thank you for the explanation. Now, can you share some examples or personal experiences that highlight the positive impact of co-parenting on children?
All right. Let me share this. When we started, my husband and I started raising our children, there is something that we got to learn early. Children are very wise. Can we call that wisdom? No, they are testing the waters. So when you tell them this is the boundary, they still try to cross the boundary, and they won't cross it in a day. They come trying it little by little. They come tapping, and when they see you are not really caring about it, then they cross over to the other side where you are preventing them from crossing over to. So we got to learn that early. And this is what I'm trying to say. When children come to me and say, "Mommy, I want this," and you say, "No, I can't give you that," they will go back to their father. And at times the father could say, "Oh, go ahead and have it." At that point, they've seen a loophole and they're going to keep on playing on that. So my children at a point were now using that advantage, which we had to quickly bridge the gap. So what we did was before we make any decision, even if you go to my husband first, he will still discuss with me whatever the child has discussed with him, and we are going to be making those decisions together. If you come to me, I'm still going to discuss with my husband, so you won't get a yes or no from me. I will tell the child, hold on, let me discuss with your father first, and the father too, vice versa. So the children already know that they cannot get anything from only one of us. They have to go through the two of us. So at times they will end up explaining themselves to both of us on different occasions. Daddy, I've told mommy this. This is what I want. And that is what has been working for us.
Wow, that's a wonderful example. That's because it's I think common see children trying to play that game of who will say a yes because they know who says no more, they know who says yes, and they try to play that game. So parents is part of co-parenting when we allow children to know how to make decisions even when they grow older in their own homes. Is about asking the parents agreeing on how to tackle such gimmicks, I'll say, from children, such common sense from children. Oh, thank you very much. That's a good example. Have you got any other examples before I go on to the next question? But before then, thank you, Sultan Adewani. He says, well explained. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you, Dr. Delphine Tamu Kong. He says, I love this. Thank you very much. Please remember to like, to share, to subscribe, and let us ask questions that are from the heart. Thank you. So, are there other examples of let me see, what was that question? Say examples of or personal experiences that highlight the positive impact of co-parenting on children.
All right. Well, another example I would like to give is of children trying to make a decision which they know is not right, and they are still, trying to push it to the parents. I've seen this kind of, although it didn't happen directly to me, it happened to a friend, and this child was just bent on, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, and the mother has tried so much to convince the child not to follow that path, but the child was bent on doing what he wanted to do. So what I advised the mother do was call on the father. You are not the only owner, the sole owner of this child. Fine, the child is with you. They are separated. The child is with you, but call on the partner, call on your husband, your ex, and let him know what is going on. At times children might see women as, people will say, weaker vessel. They will be like, mommy will accept. At the end of the day, if I keep pushing, mommy will accept. So just involve your ex. And by the time you involve the ex, and the ex called this child and started speaking with him, the child was able to express his mind to the father, unlike the way he was expressing to the mother. We were all shocked when the father came and was explaining everything this child said. It was really contrary to what he was telling the mother. It was a different thing entirely. So eventually the father was able to convince the boy, was able to tell him the right thing to do, why he should do it, and what will come out of it. And to the glory of God, the boy followed that path, and today we are all praising God. So
Wow.
that is a very good example of what co-parenting looks like, what it could do
Yes.
in the life of a child.
Thank you. Thank you. For those who are just joining in and who are thinking, oh, co-parenting, they're talking to divorced or single parents. It's been established already that co-parenting is not just for the divorced or the single parents, or it's also for married couples, because we've seen several times, in different marriages where either the mother is left to the kid to cater for the children while the dad goes, or the dad is the one catering for the children and the mom goes somewhere else, things like that. We coming together, a shared responsibility, even in married homes, because it's not just single homes that you need to talk about co-parenting. You will also need to talk about it in a marriage situation. So co-parenting for all who have children. And before we go on to the next question, do you think co-parenting also applies to um, children who are not your biological children? What do you think? Because
Yes,
sometimes you have
yes.
children who are placed under your care, maybe through adoption or through just relatives. Does it apply in any way?
Yes, it does. From experience, I happen to always, from time to time, have children who are not my biological children under my roof, living with me. At times two, at times three, males, females. They're always coming. Some families, some that were not even related at all. But one thing that we established in our family is that as long as you are living under our roof, you have to abide the same rules that is binding on my children is binding on you. You have to learn to comply by those rules too.
Yeah.
So co-parenting, whether they are your children, as long as they are under you. Even
Mm.
teachers, they are parents to those children, as long as the children are with you in the school. Teachers are also parents. So co-parenting doesn't have to do with your biological children alone. As long as the child is, under your supervision, you are parenting.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you very much. I just thought I'd make that clear because some people would think, oh, it's only to your own blood that you can do co-parenting. But even to any child under you, under your care, is we need co-parenting. There needs to be a shared responsibility from the man and the woman to bring up that child in the proper way. Now, my next question is, what challenges do parents commonly face when trying to co-parent effectively, and how can they overcome them? So, in terms of either married or non-married, either single or not single, I know we have to say it in different ways, but over to you, parents experts.
All right.
How do you tackle that?
Parenting, if you will agree with me, is not a child's play. It's a very, very tough game. And so is co-parenting. And it becomes more difficult when the couples are apart, maybe separated, or because of the job of either of the partner, they have to live separately away from each other. Co-parenting is a tough game. There are so many challenges attached to it, but these are challenges that we can overcome by just focusing our mind on what we are doing, just being intentional about what we are doing. It's what we can overcome. So the first thing we're going to talk about on that is how to balance responsibilities. Now, when you say balancing responsibilities, earlier I explained that co-parenting is not just about making decisions. It's about some other activities that are done in the home, to make sure that these children are comfortable. These children have what they're supposed to have at the right time. They're supposed to have it. It includes, like I said earlier, who drops them, for children that you still have to drop in school, who picks them later in the day, who welcomes them back home, who takes them out on weekends. These are what co-parenting involved, apart from making decisions. So when you talk about shared responsibility, we still have conflicts in that area. We often have conflicts in that area. You see uh, couples say, no, I'm the one doing this. Okay, I will do this. No, this is too much for me. I can't be waking up as early as 5 a.m. to take care of the children alone. You have to join me. You have to, there is always conflict in sharing the responsibility. That is one aspect. And it's a tough one to resolve. And what we should do is to learn to be flexible. Don't be bent on doing just one. Don't be bent on a particular role, to play. You have to be flexible. When you study your partner and you notice, oh, this woman is getting overloaded with tasks, you can come in and say, okay, let me handle this for this week. Next week, you will continue. You know that your partner will will not be taking the routes to the children's school. You can volunteer. Okay, let me drop them off while you handle this other one. These are ways that we can resolve that. For couples who are separated, you can decide, okay, maybe you notice your partner has a journey to make, or a rendezvous, or don't let me say that in French. Pardon me, please. A meeting, an appointment, yes, as an appointment to keep. And you can actually take care of the kids in his or her absence. That is a way to, shift ground. You have to meet in the middle, learn to be flexible. Don't be rigid about roles that you are playing. That is one way to tackle that. Another challenge that we can have is the differences in our parenting style. Differences in our parenting style. Like I said earlier, we were raised by different parents from different backgrounds. So there is always conflict about the way we raise our children. Before children came, you would understand that there have been conflicts between couples about some will have challenges about why are you pressing the toothpaste like this. My own problem with my husband was when I'm eating swallow, I take my swallow from any part of the plate. But my husband is the type that will take his own swallow and you will dress it. He will keep on, dressing it until we finish the meal. So these are simple conflicts. So if it can happen just between couples, just about our day-to-day living, it will happen definitely when we are raising our children. We need to understand this. So the
Yes.
solution to that is communication. Don't
Mm.
assume that my partner understands what I'm trying to say. Don't never assume. You must learn to communicate, learn to tell your partner what you feel about the situation and how you feel it should be handled. And don't be rigid about it is my decision. Oh, I'm the mother, I know the best. No, you can't know the best. You
Mm.
don't know the best. There are times that you think you know the best, and that best will kill your child. So we have to learn to shift ground and say, okay, you want it this way, I want it this way. Let's reason it together. Come together and communicate and try to reason it out. That's another thing. Another thing I notice is extended families involvement
Mm.
in raising, in co-parenting.
Yeah.
Now let me share this experience. I mentioned that then I used to have relatives, non-relatives coming to live with me. And when they come, there are some values they are bringing from their own family that they want to display in my home, and it is not in line with what I have taught my children. I have to say no. I don't want that. Yes, you are their uncle, but you won't do that here. You can imagine you are talking to my child and you are just doing this. Get out of here. And no, no, no. As soon as I notice that, I will say, no, don't do that to my child. We don't do that here. It is wrong. Do you know why it is wrong? I will explain, and then we'll be able to just wrap it up there and we keep on living. So involvement of the extended family. At times, there are things that you cannot tell extended family. There are parents, or let me say mothers or wives, that are not so bold to tell their in-laws, no, you can't do that here. Did you get it? Then you can imagine if the extended family we are talking about is now grandpa or grandma, mother-in-law, father-in-laws. It will be difficult to say, grandma, don't do that to my child. It will be difficult. So these are some of the challenges we have in co-parenting.
You're right. You're right. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was so elaborate. And thank you to those who are joining us online. Or if you're just coming in, you've missed a bit. You can still rewind later to catch up. But we've said a lot, and our children expert, parent expert here, Mrs. Fola Sola-Adeniyi, has said so much about parenting, co-parenting especially. Now, you're going to be saying, before we go further with the other questions, number one, I would like to read a comment here by somebody who says, children, that's in Tamukong, says, children are children, whether they are orphans, our partners' children. It is our responsibility to treat them with love and care, guiding them and fostering their development. Yes, you're right. So yeah, that is it. And before we go on to the next set of questions, I would like you to wrap up what you said before now in French, so that our parlez-vous friends will understand
All
Okay,
right.
so that they get lost in in all of this. Yeah, over to you.
Nous avons déjà parlé de la sujet, la coparentalité. Coparentalité, c'est une situation quand on a les deux parents qui font les décisions ensemble, qui traînent les enfants ensemble, toujours. That is when we have the two parents coming together to take care of their children all together. And then we talked about the key, the importance, les importances de la coparentalité à les enfants. Et quelles sont les importances? Premièrement, on a déjà parlé de la système de support, de la système de soutien, unifié de soutien, unified system of support for the children. On a aussi parlé de la fait que la coparentalité renforce la lien de la famille. C'est-à-dire, cela veut dire, it strengthens the bond, the family bond. On a déjà parlé de ça et on a déjà parlé de la fait que coparentalité fait des compétences améliorées en résolution de problèmes pour les enfants. Coparentalité, co-parenting, how will I put that now? That it builds in children problem-solving skills. When they see you as parents, solving those problems, they're also learning to do that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was good to hear. So merci beaucoup. I have to do like French person.
Je vous en prie.
Merci. All right, we'll carry on with our questions. Now, are there specific communication strategies that you recommend for co-parents to ensure a harmonious upbringing for their children?
Yes. For effective co-parenting, like I said earlier, communication is key. That is the bedrock of effective co-parenting. And to communicate effectively, one thing we should learn to do is to listen actively. Il faut bien écouter, toujours. Il faut bien écouter. You should learn to listen actively. And what do I mean by that? Because of what we know, and this happens most of the time to we mothers, we believe that we know our children. I know my child. Never assume, like I said, never ever assume. Let your partner talk. Both of you should talk. In fact, when you are talking, don't interrupt. Let us avoid interruption. Let both of you should express your mind. And when you do that, that is when you will see the point of view of your partner. You can't see the point of view if you keep on interrupting and lauding your own opinion all the time. It's about the child. Our interest should be about the child. So the first thing is let's learn to be actively listening all the time. Even when the partner is not speaking it, you should know when your partner has a reservation about a decision both of you are trying to make. Another thing you should do about that, I say communication still, written communication. Now, when I say written communication, somebody like me, all these things that I said today, if I have to write it down, you will be reading and be smiling and just be nodding your head. I am good at expressing myself on paper, just write it. When I do that, I feel like I'm pouring my whole self out. So when I express myself in writing to you, you will read it and understand me better than when I'm trying to talk it with you. So at times I do that with my husband because for some reason we are not always together. He has, men have to be on the move trying to find ends meet. So when he's off like that and I have to discuss with him, instead of calling and saying hello, at times after saying the hello and I have something to say, I still type it. Thank God for social media. So you can make use of that and express your mind, especially when the couples are no longer together. That works. You might not feel comfortable enough, the two of you coming together, sitting together, talking together anymore. You might not feel comfortable enough, but the fact that you can write it down and send it is a very good one. And thank God it is no longer the day of postal service that you have to wait 2 weeks and then the response comes back after 2 weeks. This one is instant. So learn to do written communication. It will help you a lot. And also be flexible and ready to compromise. Now, I've said that earlier, so I'm not going to dwell too much on it. Learn to be flexible. It is not all about you. When you say your mind, allow your partner to say his mind or her mind, and then we move on from there. Finding the solution should be your focus, not arguing, not trying to drag, in fact, by the time I'm done with you. No, it is not all about that. Remember, it's about the child, not about you. It's not you two now. It's about the child. So we should learn to do that. And also, we should learn to seek professional help. And when I say professional help, I'm not talking about just therapists alone. If you have the power to get a therapist, fine, go ahead. But we have some parents that are successful parents. I'm not talking about money now. I'm talking about parents that have been able to raise their children well. And you see it, that these are successful parents. You can go to them for advice. Mind you, when you go to people for advice, let it be people that you know this one is not lying to me. Because some parents will be like, my child is the best. My child is perfect. When what they are battling with in their home, under their roof, with that child is unexplainable. So let it be parents that will tell you the truth, that will tell you the challenges they faced on their children and how they were able to tackle those challenges. So, and eventually when you get information, learn to sift information. Don't just carry it like that and go and dump it on your children. These are things that, okay, you have gotten information, you have done this, you have to sift the best and pick for your child. So when we talk about communication, these are things we should be put into consideration.
Thank you very much. You've talked about écouter. Écouter la classe. That's what we used to tell us in class when we were in secondary school. Écouter la classe. At least I remember that one. Okay, so you have also said that communication, either written or verbal, whichever works.
Yes, on peut utiliser la communication écrite. Communication écrite.
Okay, thank you. So that is very important. And I know children are encouraged to write, keep diaries, journals, because it's possible some children are better expressing themselves in writing, just like you said. So, yeah. I pray God helps every one of us. And so for co-parenting, to ensure harmonious upbringing of children, effective communication is very essential. Thank you very much to those online. Thank you for joining. Please write your questions. We want to hear from you. Following, we want to know if you're what's worked for you, what strategies have you used that worked for you, or if you're not married or you haven't got children, what have you seen in other families that has worked for them or that have worked for them? Thank you very much. And if you're a French speaking person, parlez-vous, it would be nice to hear from you. Type it out, it's fine. Type it out in French, we will put it on the screen, and our sister here will be able to interpret that. Thank you. Next question is, what advice can you offer to separated or divorced parents who are just starting their co-parenting journey?
All right. Before I offer that advice, let me say this. Divorce doesn't start in a day. It's a process. So as soon as a couple understands that this relationship is heading towards separation, the first thing that we should start considering is the child. what will happen to this child? Where will this child go? How will it affect the child? Let your interest be on the child. Adults, you have carried the load of your, let me use it in that expression, the way we used to say it in your Yoruba. You've carried your own load to an extent. These children are just coming up, and there are things they might not be able to express to you. They are feeling it. It's breaking them within, but they can't just express themselves to you. So please, when you know that your relationship is heading towards divorce, the first thing to start thinking about is the child. As long as you have children in the relationship, the next thing is what will happen to the child. And now my advice, see, it is communication. It is still communication. And after communication, it is still communication. For every couple who have just completed the divorce journey, you are now divorced, the next thing you should learn to do is to communicate. You need to put aside your differences. We know that something happened that led to that divorce, but for the sake of the child that is between you, you need to put aside your differences. If this man is somebody you don't want to be seen with in public, communicate on phone. If this man is somebody you don't want to hear his voice, or this woman is somebody you don't want to hear her voice, do written communication. Just keep communicating about the children. Now, you are not talking about I love you, I want you back in my life. That is not the point of conversation now. The point of conversation is our child. Our child has to do this. Always be available for your child's special events, school events, inter-house sports, church events, mosque events. As long as your child is having something that you need to praise them, that you need to celebrate them, always be available. Find time. This will give the children the sense of belief that, oh, my parents can still be available even despite the divorce. They are not living together, but both of them can still be available. You can be in the same hall and you're not sitting together, but the child can see you that you are in the hall. You are present there. So always be available for your child's celebration moments. Another thing is, never use your child as a weapon in divorce. See, these children, they would be there. They might even be nodding their head when you are saying, this is what I would do to your mother. This is what I would do to your father. They will be nodding their head in support because they are intimidated. They can't tell you how they feel about it. They can't let you know that they are not happy about it. But you are killing them. So don't use them as a weapon. If they have to see their father or their mother, release them. If they have to spend days or weeks away from you just to spend time with their other parents, leave them. Don't use your child as a weapon against your ex. You are not dealing with your ex, so you will end up dealing madly with your own child. That is my little advice.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. To those joining us, thank you very much for joining us today. And please write comments, write questions. Have you heard of a very difficult situation with co-parenting, parenting, and you feel you must ask this question? Please do ask this question because we've got an expert with us today. Now, thank you very much for saying all of that. Are you able to quickly translate that in French again before we go further? The question is, what advice?
Okay.
Before then, thank you very much. Pastor Adekunbi Ajayi is saying 100%. Yes, saying kudos. Thank you very much for joining us. And so, can you say that quickly in French before we go on? What advice can you offer to separate or divorce parents?
S'il y a le divorce, la première chose, on doit considérer le bien-être des enfants avant quelque chose. On doit considérer le bien-être. The well-being of the child is the first thing. The interest of the child, l'intérêt des enfants. S'il y a un enfant, deux enfants, combien de numéros des enfants vous avez? On doit considérer les intérêts avant quelque chose, avant n'importe chose. Aussi, il doit être bon ligne de communication parmi les deux parents. A very good line of communication must exist between the two of them.
Thank you. If you see me the way I'm shaking my head, like I know what you're talking about. Well, don't mind me. Just why you see me shaking, I'm just like, well, saying well
Et
done
on doit
for.
se respecter les uns et les autres. We must, in that kind of situation, you respect each other. You set
Yeah.
boundaries. You must be able to
Yes.
respect each other's opinion.
Yes. Yes.
Tout le temps.
Thank you. Sultan says mercy. Yes, merci beaucoup. And yeah, I can pick a few words. I can hear all the lessons for my children. It was good they taught us French in school. You can pick some words. At least you're not like total stranger to it all. So thank you very much for that. Now the next question is: are there any particular strategies or resources that can help co-parents handle conflicts or disagreements in a healthy way without using their children as weapons?
Okay. When there are conflicts, like I said, there will always be conflicts. When there are conflicts, what we should do is first be calm. Be calm. At times, we say, "Oh, it's driving me crazy. This your attitude is driving me crazy." Be calm. Don't let anything drive you crazy, because now there are children involved. One thing I have noticed is in every conflict, in every marriage, in every relationship where we have children, those who bear the brunt, it is not the partners, it's the children. They are the one bearing the brunt. They are the one, feeling it more. You will not know at that moment because you are the one feeling hurt. But the aftermath of it all is on the children. So always learn to be calm. Then choose your battle. It is not every disagreement that should lead to hot exchange of words. It is not in every disagreement that you must raise your voice and you start, I have to do this must happen, ever must fall. There are some comments you let slide. I always give an example to my children. I will say, hot oil, when the oil is on fire and it is hot, and you decide to drop just a thumb of water in the oil, what will happen? It will spray everywhere and it touches everyone around and everything around. That is what argument, conflict will do in your marriage. And eventually, if it drops on your clothes, it takes a while to wash it off. You can't just wipe it off your wall with clothes. You have to put soap and you start, scrubbing everywhere. That is what conflict does if you are not careful. So you should learn to be calm. Pick your battle. If you say you want to be dusting off every pegs, every insult that comes from your partner, you look like a crazy person. So you have to learn to be calm and let some things slide. Just overlook them as if they don't exist. Pick your battles. Also, like I said, learn to listen, be an active listener, stay solution oriented. The problem that you are facing, the conflict, is not the problem. There is something causing that conflict, and that is what you should find solution to. You understand? So stay solution oriented and practice empathy. If I say empathy, I mean put yourself in the shoe of your partner. Both of you should now, in this case now, you are switching roles. You understand me? So you'll be able to see better when you are calm enough to do that. There are some fights we engage in that eventually I've done it before. In fact, I used to tell my husband, I said, I never saw myself doing that. Maybe it's because I was pregnant. Could it be hormonal imbalance? Could it be hormonal change? Because eventually, after I did that thing and I look back, today I still feel like crying. Was that me? Was I so crazy? You know, there are some things we do that if we try to reflect, we will see that we have overdone it. So These are things we should learn to do. Empathize, practice empathy, listen, be calm, choose your battles. You don't need to fight over everything. These are
Yeah.
simple strategies that we can, make use of in resolving some of our conflicts.
Yes, thank you very much. And someone, Dr. Delphine, also agrees with you, saying, "Amen. Learn to be calm. Learning to be calm."
Let me say this. It's very important. Always involve a mediator. If you notice that this thing is going out of hand, involve a mediator. This time, especially when when the couples are separated, don't involve in-laws. At times they could be biased. Look for a neutral person that will be able to speak the truth to both of you, that is not afraid of either of you. It could be an elder in your neighborhood, it could be an elder in your place of worship, either mosque or church, just a neutral person. And if you can afford it, visit a therapist. It will help. Professionals can help you. So learn to use a mediator if it is getting too big and you believe you are seeing that this thing is having no end. Involve a mediator.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I've got people commenting. Thank you very much for commenting. Pastor Kumbi Ajayi says reflection and awareness. Those are strategies that could be used to calm situations down for how did I put that? For a health to solve disagreements in a healthy way. So reflection and self-awareness of, oh, this is what I'm capable of, or I'd rather not do that, I'd rather do this, So reflection and self-awareness. Thank you very much for contributing. Thank you. I will be thanking those online. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for listening. If you've missed a major chunk of what we've been saying, talking about co-parenting, a lot has been said. You can rewind, go back after the same link. You can go back to watch again. We're getting towards the end. We've got 3 more questions. I know it's getting late, but I'll ask the second, third to the last question. Are there any misconceptions or myths about co-parenting that you would like to address or clarify?
Yes. The first one, we've already talked about that when you hear about co-parenting, don't think it's only for divorced couples, separated couples. No, it's for every parent, whether you are still together or not. And the second myth is that co-parenting, every time there is co-parenting, the partners have to go together. I mean, they have to, how will I put that? There should be love. It is all the time they have to go along together. No, it is not always like that. You can co-parent and there will always be conflict, like we said earlier. When co-parenting, there would always be conflict, except you are not really a good parent, because every time there will be issues to tackle, there will be decisions to make. Your child wants to go from primary school to secondary school, from GSS3 to SS1. These are simple decisions we have to make in co-parenting. No, my child is a scientist. No, my child should be in art class. No, my child should be in commercial class. These are things that could raise conflict. So you don't need to always agree. Yes, the myth is that parents, when they are co-parenting, there should always be agreement. No, there will not always be agreement. There would always be conflict that we have to resolve. We cross the hurdle to the other side. These are the few ones that I can talk about.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Now, how can extended family and support networks play a role in co-parenting and its impact on children?
Yes, they can render emotional support. Emotional support. What do we mean by that? See, for family members who already experienced divorce or separation, if you have anybody that is experiencing that at the moment, please rally around them and give them emotional, just offer them a shoulder to lean on. Don't offer them words of advice against their spouses. No, this is what you should do. This is how you, no, no, no. Don't teach them against their spouses. Leave them to find that out themselves, but offer a shoulder to lean on. Give them your emotional support. Also, you can support them financially. Most of the time when there is divorce, you see both of them would might have financial crisis. So learn to support them, not only emotionally, be there for them in all aspects. Be there for them in all aspects. If you offer them emotional support, they won't carry over the stress to the children. They won't pass over their stress to their partner. You know, by the time they're able to let out the steam with your own support, and they want to address any other issue, it will be easy for them to see. It will be easy for them to reason. They won't have too much burden on themselves. So offer them all the help you can, and please don't castigate. Don't blame. Don't play the blaming game. And your husband is this. I've been telling you before. I've warned you. So even if you have warned this person several times, this is not the time to point it out and say, yes, I told you. You have seen it. Yeah, it has happened. No, don't do the blaming game. Don't play that. This is the time they need you to support them, to help them through that situation. Let them come back to their feet and everything will be fine.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly, you said it all. I'm just sharing your Facebook page here because I'm sure there's so much more. People will be listening to this again, the recorded version, who are not able to ask questions directly. They might want to you afterwards to say, "Oh, you said this. You're the expert here." The way to get you is on Facebook. They can get you on Facebook and on YouTube. And so please, you can get our guest, Olori Fola Sola-Adeniyi. She lives in France. So if you want to speak the parlez-vous with her, you're welcome to, and she'll explain it all to you. Also there's a YouTube channel I'll share later. But before I share that, I would like you, Mrs. Fola Sola-Adeniyi, thank you very much for joining us, for finding time to speak to us about co-parenting and in the upbringing of children. The question is, what resources or organizations do you recommend for parents seeking guidance and support in co-parenting effectively, realizing that we're all from different nations? I'm sure there are people from UK here, people from France, people from the US. Please, if you're listening from another part of the country, please type in. Let's know where you're watching or listening from, so that we can talk about the various strategies or organizations or resources that we can recommend to parents who are seeking guidance and support in co-parenting effectively. Before you do that, there's a comment here from Pastor Ajayi. So much, Olori. Thank you very much. He's saying thank you very much. Okay, thank you. So, like I said, we have, you can take the Facebook page, the same name, Sola-Adeniyi, and it takes me to our next question. What resources or organizations do you recommend for parents seeking guidance?
Okay, on that, I would say professionals will be able to, like therapists, parenting professionals, child experts will be able to prefer different organizations that you can visit for resources. But thank God for social media. There are support groups everywhere that would help you in your parenting journey. Now, go on Facebook especially, you will see different parenting groups that are doing just fine. Just type parenting and you will see them popping up. Go on blogs, you will see parenting blogs that are talking about different topics that will help you raise a holistic, a responsible child. You will see blogs that are doing that. There have been successful parents who are doing this, who have been able to put down their ideas, the strategies they used into books, and it is out there, it is working. Just go online, Google is your friend. You will see all those. Also, you can, like I said earlier, successful parents around you. They are everywhere that have used it. Now, I always say, if I ask you to go to maybe a school of parenting in UK, for example, or maybe for those who are in France, I give you one. The fact remains that what you will learn there are some basic principles that cut across parenting. For example, when we talk about ABC of parenting, and we start giving you those keys, okay, you praise your child. For example, if I ask you to praise your child, under praising your child, there's something we call shaping, and you want to say, pass me that case. And the training say you should add please, and you now, okay, please Yemi pass me that case. You know, some parents will be like, I will say please to my child, God forbid. What type of training is that, you know? And some people in some culture are doing it and it is working, but it might not work for you. Whatever it is, the information you get from anywhere, any parenting school or platform or book or blog, learn to sift it. Now, you have gotten the information. For example, I'm an African woman. There are some things that I will still refashion from my training that I would, you know, repackage before I administer it onto my children as an African mother. And it will work for me. That same principle, but you know, I'm tweaking it a little to suit the needs of my children. You know your child. You know the needs of your child. You know the challenges you are facing in your children. And by the time you get those information, learn to tweak it before you pass it. Learn to sift before you pass it over to your children.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You have fed us a lot with so many tips. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we really appreciate your time here. Thank you to those who have commented. I can see when I said, please tell us where you are watching from. I can see Auntie SA connecting from Nigeria. Thank you very much. So that's my sister-in-law. God bless you. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Pastor Ajayi, for coming. I can see another person dynamic. How should one manage others correct? Oh, okay. That's a question we will answer soon. Before we go on to that question, thank you, Mrs. Ajayi. Thank you. Who else? Dr. Delphine. Thank you, Mr. Sultan Adewani. And everyone else behind the scene. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for that question. That last question, we're going to take it. But before then, here is a YouTube channel by Mrs. Fola Sola-Adeniyi, who is a parenting expert, and she will be able to answer all your questions. There are many, many, many more videos on her channel that you can watch and gain tips from. Ask her questions. She's ready to give back to the community by answering your questions. Her purpose is, she's a parenting expert and she wants to help as many that come her way. So please engage with her channel, subscribe, like, press on the notification bell so that you can know when she releases videos regularly. Thank you very much. So that is her there. Is just go on YouTube, type and you will see her channel. Thank you very much. And hey, like I said, so the Palevus will be able to also learn from it. Now, before we answer, to round up what you have said in a nutshell with the Palevus, our Francais, our Maison Fort, no, not Maison Fort, Menami, Mon ami?
Mes amis.
Les amis, yes.
Mes amis.
I know Ami is friend. So is it Mes or Les Amis? What? So yeah, please could you round up those things you said and we will take the last question.
Pour bien comprendre les sujets de parenté, de coparentalité, il y a beaucoup de ressources sur l'Internet qu'on peut utiliser. Il y a beaucoup de ressources comme le livre des parents. Il y a des ressources comme le blog. Il y a des ressources comme les groupes des parents sur le plateforme social média et sur le Facebook, particulièrement le Facebook. Je sais qu'il y a beaucoup de groupes sur le Facebook. Je ne sais pas qu'il y a beaucoup des autres groupes comme sur Instagram ou TikTok, mais pour le Facebook, je sais bien. On peut joindre les groupes pour comprendre, pour mieux comprendre les stratégies, pour mieux comprendre les sujets de coparentalité et bien fait avec nos enfants.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for explaining that to our French speaking. So finally, we're wrapping up with this last question. How should one manage others correcting your children?
That's a very, very big question. I get that often. And I always say, in the olden days, in the time when my mother was raising me, that wasn't a problem because we were, you know, Yoruba would say, let me say it in Yoruba.
It takes a community to raise a child. Yeah. It takes a community
and it takes, yes, it takes the whole community.
Village, actually, they say.
To raise the child. Now, but nowadays, it is not like that. I'm not 100% in support of other people correcting my child. Don't kill my child's morale for me. See, some parents will not tell you the problem that their children are giving them that same problem in the house. But they will come out and they say that of your child plainly like that in front of everybody. And you see, when we do that to children, it has happened to me. It happened when I was growing up. All those times that my parents were doing it to me, it was breaking me inside. It affected my self-esteem to a very large extent. I had to start building it back. It took me a while. In fact, I've not fully recovered from it because I saw myself as the worst. Eventually, when I grew up, when I became wiser, I saw all other children that they said were doing better than me. I saw they were not really doing as much as I was. So although it gave me a push to run, you know, to get better and please my parents, but it broke me within. So I don't encourage you coming out to say if a child has done something and you want to correct, you could invite the child. Invite the child's parent first. Discuss what that child has done with the parent, not directly with the child immediately. Discuss with the parent, let the parent know this is what this child has done. I noticed it. I saw him or her with so person and I felt, oh, what is she doing there? So if the parent says, go ahead and do it, you can help. You know, some parents will say, what did you now do? When you saw that, what did you do? I know I couldn't do anything because I have to inform you first. Oh, next time you see him, please, you have to do something. It is the same Yoruba that put us out there that will still say, beat my child for me. It's not as if the person is serious. So because the person is not serious, so they are just saying it. So beat my child, at the end of the day, they will come back and say, why did you beat my child? So it's good to train other people's children, but as much as possible, don't go doing it out there, showing the world, no, it's a bad child. Why did you do that? Let it be between you and the child's parent. And if possible, you could invite the child to your, you know, there's a way you talk to a child. Even when the father or mother is not there, there's a way you relate with children and they will tell you the reason why they have done something. And they will be able to open up to you. Maybe they are not even able to open up to their parents. But if you address it from the point of view that I want to discipline this child, you will just send the child far away from home and from you. So that is a
True.
very dicey situation. We have to learn how to wade into the matter.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And we'll end it there. Thank you very much, Pastor Jai. It's absolutely on there. Thank you very much for this. We really appreciate your presence here. Thank you, and thank you again. If we have questions from this video, if you have so many questions from this video, and you put it on there in the comments, we may have to invite our special guest again to come and answer those questions. If not, you can engage with her on her YouTube channel where she talks more about parenting and, in all its form and glory. So please do that. Please subscribe to our channel, like, share, comment, engage with her on there, and she'll be glad to answer all your questions. Thank you very much for those online, for those offline, for those who are watching again, for those who are going to share. The blessing of the Lord be upon you as you, those fingers that you're using to share, to like, to comment, they will go places, they will take you higher in the name of Jesus. Thank you very much for always coming here to support the channel. And thank you. Yes, we've had a lot of mercy, mercy beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Je vous en prie.
Yes, thank you. And have a lovely evening. I know you're 1 hour
Thanks for having
ahead.
me. I'm glad you have me on the program. It's been a wonderful time with everyone. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much. And I'll speak to you later. So there you go. You heard it all. Parlez-vous, anglais, all of whatever language it is you speak. You've heard it all, that co-parenting is not just for the separated, not just for the single, but also for the married, those who are even together under the roof. Don't leave it to one person. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time with another juicy topic. Thank you very much. Remember to like, to share, to subscribe, press the notification button, and let us spread the word. Let's spread the good news. I know there's so much bad news out there, but let's spread the ones that are as well, so that people can be encouraged. And those who are doing well in their parenting, the video want to say, hey, somebody talked about your good parenting style, and I appreciate you for this. So encourage everyone. Everyone needs to hear this. God bless you and have a lovely evening. Bye bye.